Good morning. Please get whatever you need ready for your presentation while we're waiting for everybody to arrive. So you can share your screen. Is there a group that wants to go first? Okay, thanks, Alicia. Good morning. After you finish your presentation, please submit your PowerPoint under the assignment on Brightspace. PowerPoint, Google Slides, whatever.
Do all of us have to submit it or just one person from our group?
I prefer you all submit it. So when I pull them up, I can remember who's in what group and just kind of verify and confirm. You may have to, if you don't have the copy, email it to each other. Okay, Alicia, I'll let you guys go ahead and start. Are all your group members here?
I'm not sure. Andre's not.
Okay. We'll give him a couple more minutes, and then if he doesn't come, then I'll let you guys go ahead.
Okay.
I won't penalize you if he can't be here. All right, go ahead and get started.
All right, Alexa and Julia, are you ready?
Yes.
If I have to, yes.
So our presentation is all about MLA formatting. The definition of MLA, it stands for Modern Language Association, and it's a style of writing that is used for college level writing. The first page formatting, all margins are at 1 inch. It's usually Times New Roman with 12-point font. There are exceptions, but most of the time it is Times New Roman. It's always double spaced. The header order goes student name, the instructor name, the class that you are enrolled in, and the date. And the title is always centered on the first page, and the running head in the top right-hand corner is your last name, and you'll put the page number, and it'll carry a running page number. Formatting for a block quote, you use quotations for longer than 3 to 4 lines. If it's not longer than 3 to 4 lines, you don't have to use quotations. And you introduce the quote with a short sentence explaining really kind of what it is to lead into your quotation. And you don't usually use quotation marks unless it's longer than 3 to 4 lines, but you do start your quote on a new line. And you end it 1/2 inch from the left margin. It's always double spaced. And for in-text quotations, you'll put the last name of the author and then the page number that you found the quote. Formatting in poetry is similar, but you use slash marks instead of quotations for more than 2+ lines. And the stanza break, you have 2 slash marks instead of just 1. If it's more than 3 to 4 lines of a quotation, you'll use block quote formatting. And for in-text citation, you use the poet's last name, the page number, and the line that your quotation was found on. And here are a few examples of formatting for poetry, since it is such an odd citation.
Okay.
And here's some more in-text citation examples. Alexa.
Signal phrases in MLA. They provide readers with clear shift to quotation, verb that is appropriate in context. And there are some examples. What fields in MLA used in, oops, I can't really see the end of it. Oh, used in, okay. English studies, foreign languages, literacy, criticism, comparative literature, and cultural studies. Works cited formatting. Begin your works cited page on a separate page at the end of your research paper. It should have the same 1 inch margins and last name, page number, headers as the rest of your paper. Label the page works cited. Double space all citations. but do not skip spaces between entries. Indent the second and subsequent lines of citation by 0.5 inch to create a hanging indent.
Julia.
Do I still continue?
This was Julia's slide, but you can do it if you'd like to.
Okay, I'll do this one. List page numbers of sources efficiently when needed. If you refer to a journal article that appeared on page 225 through 250, list the page numbers on your works cited page. If the excerpt spans multiple pages, use, page number. Note that MLA style uses a hyphen in a span of pages. If only one page of a print source is used, mark it with the abbreviation P. Before the page number, page 157. If a span of pages is used, mark it with the abbreviation PP. Before the page numbers, if you are citing an article or a publication that was originally issued in a print form, but that you retrieved from an online database, you should type the online database name in italics. You do not need to provide subscription information in addition to the database name.
That was all we have because Andre did not complete his section of the presentation.
Okay. All right. You guys may want to review the instructions for page numbers. We used to have the P in the MLA, but they have since dropped using the P with the page numbers. Let me pull up an example and show you it. Well, let's go through the presentations and see what everybody else has, and maybe we can see some examples. Who is willing to go next? Got, let's see, check the groups. Ellie, is your group ready?
I think so.
Okay.
Probably.
Everybody tell Ellie that you're there.
I'm here.
I'm ready.
Okay. And I'll let you guys start.
Okay, so this is our MLA presentation, and it's by Regan, me, and Ellie. So these are definitions of MLA and what academic fields commonly use it. MLA is a commonly used format for many essays and papers. MLA stands for Modern Language Association. As I said earlier, this type of format is used for papers and to cite sources with humanities and liberal arts. If you are participating in cultural studies, literacy criticism, comparative literature, foreign language, or English studies, you should typically use the MLA style of formatting. The main reason why these type of classes use this format is because it makes it easier for the readers to comprehend the text, allows the readers to focus on the topic more, and is easier to establish credibility.
So when you start your first page formatting, you start in your upper left-hand corner of your first page, and that is where you will list your name, your instructor's name, the course, and the date. And as you can see, for example, your date will go day, month, and year. And that all has to be double spaced. And in your top right upper corner, that goes your last name, followed by a space with the page number, as you can see in the example below. Also with having it indented 1.5 inches for an indent, and with 1 inch space margins.
So the font style is Times New Roman or any legible font, but normally it is Times New Roman. Whatever font you end up using, the italics and the regular styles must contrast enough that they are distinct from each other, and it should be in a 12-point font.
Okay.
So in ML style citations, which is known as parenthetical citation, immediately following a quote from a source or a paraphrase, good morning, everybody, of a source's ideas, then you place the author's name, then lastly you add a space, then a page number. But if there's no author, then you will shorten the title of your work, or the book title, the article title, or just depending on what citation you're using. And then following your in-text citation, you will have a works cited page.
So these are some signal phrases to introduce source information. There are other citation styles that you can use besides MLA. You can add a little bit more flavor into the writing by changing up the introduction to paraphrases, quotations, or in general information borrowed from a different source that you would need to cite. A few examples of signal phrases you can use are, so generally you'd use the author's name and then put, like, for example, Eliot declares, and then write what he declares in citations or like in quotations, whatever he said in the reading. Or Eliot believed that, Eliot addresses, as Eliot implies, Eliot argues that, as Eliot suggests, Eliot thinks that, as Eliot indicated. Also, these can be past or present tense, as you can all see.
Okay, good.
So for quotes that are more than 4 lines of prose or 3 lines of verse, you place that quotation in a freestanding block and leave out the quotation marks. On a new line, you start the quotation with the entire quote indented an 1/2 inch from the left margin, making sure to maintain the double spacing within the paragraph. Don't know why that third sentence is in there. There's no example, so I don't know why that's there. Sorry. But keep the long poetry quotations the same as normal block quotations, and if you need to cite 2 paragraphs, you indent the second paragraph to show a new paragraph. In short poetry quotations, you use slash marks to make a break in each verse, and if a stanza break occurs during the quotation, use a double slash. So formatting works cited, it should be the last page of the research paper, and it should have the same 1-inch margins and header as the other pages. You label the works cited without italics or quotations centered at the top of the page. You double space all citations, but do not leave spaces between the entries, as well as leave a hanging indent of the second line of citations. You list page numbers when needed, for example, when you do journals, books, and you omit the second page number's first number if there. So for an example, if you'd use page 220 to 225, you take away the 2 of 225, the first 2. And here's an example of it right over here.
Okay.
Okay, so these are just some examples of illustrating like MLA, the correct style, and then the incorrect style of MLA. So on the left, you can see how the name and then the teacher and then the course and then the date is all correct. And then the name on the right with the page number is correct. And then the title is centered with all capital, and then it's indented on the left in the first paragraph and the second paragraph. And then on the right, it's an incorrect example because the left, where the name and the date and the teacher's name and the class is supposed to be, is on the right, along with the name on the right, with the page number. So the one on the right should be all the way over to the left. And then you can just tell it's not the correct margin or the double spaced.
Good.
So we created a quiz. That's what it said in the,
Yes.
okay, was this correctly how we set this up?
Let's see. Yeah.
'Cause we-
If you
okay.
everybody will type their answer in the chat. So
Okay.
you'll label it 1 through 5, not your group, but everybody else who's not in your group.
Right.
Then just
Okay.
put your answers in the chat.
Okay, we also made an answer, or I made an answer slide after.
Okay, yeah, hold that thought.
Yes.
We'll give
If
everybody a
anyone-
few minutes to read them over and reply.
If anyone needs me to read a question, I can.
That's okay, Kaylee. Okay, good. Looks like everybody's getting number 1. Good, Mary. You've got them all listed there. Yeah. Number 3 is an excellent question. That comes up more than you think, especially because we have online resources these days that make up a lot of sources for the paper.
Why, thank you. I created these questions.
Very good. Okay, looks like everybody was listening so far. Mm-hmm. Everybody check number 3. For number 3, when you don't have an author, you're going to use a shortened version of the title. because you need that information to look it up on the works cited page.
Don't you also put quotations around the shortened title, or am I mistaken?
But no, you're correct. Most of the time you're correct. Whatever is done to the title in the works cited should also be done to it in the short version. And most of the time that is quotations. Very rarely it might be in italics. But basically you just want it to match up with whatever format is used on the works cited page. So if I go to your works cited and the title's in quotation marks, then the title would also be in quotation marks in the paper in the in-text citation. That's a good question. We're going to look at some more examples of that too. Probably in your presentations here. I'll let everybody give their examples and then I'll go over a few. Okay, that's looking good. That you generally don't want to leave it blank because you have to cite the source. Okay. All right, good job, guys. Anybody have any questions for him? Okay, thank you very much. All right, which group is ready to go next?
My group can go if everybody's ready.
Okay, Kaylee's group. Ready, mentally prepared? Okay, you can start whenever you're ready.
Sorry, that's me and my boyfriend. Okay.
No problem.
All right, so this is our MLA presentation. And this was me, Mary, Colson, and Fabian.
Definition of MLA and when it is used. MLA or modern language association is defined as a style of writing used for college level writing. MLA style is used mostly in high school setting and most college level classes as well.
Fabian.
Okay, so yeah, sorry.
No, you're
Sorry
good.
about that. Okay, so here we're going to talk about the first page from writing. So you can see the example that I put over here. So in the left part, in the header part of the page, you have to start putting your name. And the next you are going to put with double space. You have to put next your professor or the instructor name. The next you are going to put your class, and next you are going to put some information if it is necessary. No, it's not necessary until the professor or the tutor told you that you have to do it, like the due date, or if you have to put some information, like extra information. And to finish the header, you are going to put your title in the center of the paper. The next is to set the running head. So this is where you have to put your last name and the number of the page, like in consecutive number. So first page, second page, third page. And in some cases, you don't have to put like the first page until your professor told you. But it's like for more like to be pretty, yeah. So you have all the page with number, so it looks more like good. And that is like in consecutive numbers, the principal idea.
Yes.
And the font and the style is 2.5 centimeters in the margins. That here is 1 inch, yeah. Usually, we need to put the type and the style in Times New Roman. That is like the recommended for MLA format, and the size is needed to be 12-point size. And in all the paper, you have to double space in all the paragraphs, and yeah, all the entire paper. And the most important is that you have to justify your text to the left and not like in the middle or the right, just all to the left.
Good.
Okay, so for single phrases, to introduce source information, a single phrase is like a sentence that introduces a quotation. So if you're talking about somebody who had said something, or like from an article that you saw, you would say their name and you would introduce the quotation. So this is an example I put. Did you know that jig is one of the most versatile bait for bass fishing? According to Greg, so he mentioned the name that the quotation's coming from. Greg Hankey, a professional bass fisherman. It's hard to fish successfully anywhere without jig tied on, said Hankey. So he mentioned the name again, and then he goes on with another quote or phrase from the person who said it. So it is one of the most versatile and best big bass baits you can use.
Okay, good.
So you want to make sure you introduce that name. And then if you're going to say the name again, usually you would use just the last name, not the first name.
Exactly, yeah.
So methods for using in-text citations and their punctuation. In-text citations have the last name of the author followed by the page number inside parentheses. So for example, 1, you would put the quote inside the quotations, and then in parentheses at the end, you would put the last name of the author and the page number it was on. If the author, we just talked about this in the last quiz, if the author's name is not given, then use the first word or words of the title and follow the same formatting that was used in the works cited list. And you want to use quotation marks with that. So down here, this is a paraphrase, and if you don't have the author's name, you would put the title and make sure you put quotations, put parentheses around it the same way, and put the page number.
Very good.
And also with the in-text citations, you should also introduce them, kind of where they came from, and just have a good introduction with it. Mary, are you there? Okay, so I don't think Mary's here. She's supposed to be doing this slide, but I can touch on it a little bit. So quotations and special sources like poetry, make sure to double the quotation marks around your quotations. Make sure to include the author's name, the title of the poem, and the line number in the text. So here's an example. In Trees, the poem, Kilmer describes how the trees are more lovely than poems, stating, I think I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree. So you would put the quotations there, and this wasn't my slide, so I'm trying to touch on it, but
Yeah, I understand.
I apologize.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing it.
And then there's a fun meme that I put because everybody loves Kermit the Frog.
He's pretty funny. That baby Kermit, he's cute.
Yeah. And then Fabian made a Kahoot. So I know we have 5 minutes left. Fabian, do you think that's enough time to do the Kahoot?
Yes, it's enough. It's really fast.
Okay, do you want to pull it up?
Yes, you can search in your phone, like Play Kahoot in Google.
Okay.
Cool.
So everybody get on Kahoot.
We're getting there.
How many are we supposed to enter?
Okay, go ahead since we're getting short on
Yep.
time.
Okay. I'm gonna start now, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, Chloe. Yes, be safe. Don't try that while driving. Hmm.
I searched this and to me appear like this to use the first word or words of the title.
Mm-hmm.
But in some cases that you can put anything, like leave it in white space. Well, next.
It's for a signal phrase?
No, that was in the header file, in the header.
Oh, okay. Okay, this is a pretty fun thing. I may have to use this. All right, it's about to cut us off, so we'll take a break after this.
Who won?
See.
Oh, darn it.
Sir.
Oh, what?
Yes, sir.
Oh, very good.